You could say this wreck started in slow motion a little while back. I was at a brand new real estate conference, totally new network, conference I've never attended before, coach I've never seen before. And within 5 minutes, he asked everyone in the room to raise their hand if they ran a real estate team. Now, because of this conference's nature, that was the bulk of the room. So almost every single hand went up. Then he asked, now, how many of you have ever wanted to tear your team down to the ground? Just wreck it all and move on without it entirely. At least once a week. No hands went down. That was a pivotal moment for me as a team lead because I realized it wasn't just me. I wasn't alone. Everyone in real estate team leadership feels this way sometimes, most of the time, occasionally all of the time. And in that moment, that collective sigh that my soul let out in recognition, it planted a seed I just couldn't shake. I'm Christy, and I run a real estate team. Well, I ran a real estate team in the Seattle area, and this is the Teamwrecked Podcast. So after that conference moment, something started to shift for me. It started to take root and slowly change my way of thinking, and it kind of dug in like a tick. Until this past summer, when one day I walked into my office and in frustration, I threw my bag on the conference table, grabbed a whiteboard, and I wrote down a phrase that changed everything. What if I tore it all down? At first, it was just a thought exercise. I started brainstorming. What would our value prop look like if we started from scratch? What would our tech stack be if we build and we weren't tied to any legacy systems? Were we even at the right brokerage? What sort of amenities could we offer agents that could help with recruiting and help with retention? This all stayed on that whiteboard for months, flipped around, hidden where no one could see it, but it really never left my mind. It frankly is still up on that whiteboard. But then months later, I decided to find out what would happen if I actually meant it. And one October morning, I walked into a team meeting and I said something that was both scary and irrevocable. Guys, we are tearing it all down. Obviously, with a real estate team, you're dealing with independent contractors, so I couldn't fire anybody. I didn't fire anybody. But this was our 2-week notice of termination of our contractual obligations to each other, and it officially ended the team agreements. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I cried, they cried, everyone cried, and the questions came fast. Why? What's next? Why are you doing this? Can we stay? And I had to answer, I don't know. Because the truth is, I didn't. I still don't. All I knew was that the industry is changing faster than we realize, and if we didn't evolve with it, we were going to be left behind. So I made a commitment to myself. Nothing is sacred. Almost everything is on the table for reconsideration. We're going to be remodeling this team for 2026 and beyond, not for 2007 in the past. The old phrase, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, comes to mind here. But sometimes it really is better to stop, take a deep breath, and say, okay, it's time to start with a clean board. A few years ago, I heard a phrase that stuck with me. It was right as I was transitioning out of my leadership role with a local home builder, and someone said, it's better to be at the bottom of a ladder you want to climb than at the top of one you don't. And it hit me hard. Because for me, real estate team leadership has always been a ladder I wanted to climb. I've loved it, the collaboration, the challenge, the growth. In fact, just recently, I was reviewing my production with my brokerage leader, and it really stood out. I do better with a team. I do better when I'm investing in people. I do better when I'm contributing to other people's success. It enhances mine. It doesn't take away from it. It's a powerful thing, realizing that what fuels you most is helping others grow. But even the ladder you want to climb can turn into the wrong one over time. Not because you took a wrong step, but because the landscape around you shifted. And that's what's happening right now. Our industry is moving so quickly with tech, with brokerage consolidation, with AI. The old ways simply won't get us where we need to go next. And sometimes you really do have to stop, take a deep breath, and say, okay, let's start with that clean board. So that's what we're doing here. One of my real estate mentors has a line that I come back to often. If your goals don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. And if I'm honest, this rebuild, this remodel, it terrifies me. But maybe that's the point. Maybe fear isn't always a sign to stop. Maybe it's a signal that you're just finally moving in the right direction. So that's where I am right now, standing in the middle of fear and excitement, and I'm choosing to move forward anyway. It's easy to make this sound like I have all the answers. I do not. None of us do right now, because it isn't just my wreck. This whole industry is in a state of change, and honestly, no one fully knows what's coming next. What we do know is things are shifting fast, and pretending otherwise isn't going to stop it. Despite what we are often hearing in the media these days, I'm really hesitant to say our industry is under attack. I don't really think real estate can be. There's no one out there to get us. If anything, we as agents do a pretty gosh darn job of attacking ourselves when we forget our ethics, when we undercut each other, when we lose sight of what actually matters. You don't have to spend too much time in a Facebook group to see it. We're our own worst enemy, not the National Association of Realtors, not the Department of Justice, not a consumer lawsuit or a brokerage consolidation. But make no mistake, the real estate industry is at a turning point. Anyone who doesn't see it either isn't paying attention or is just choosing not to. There's something like 100 new AI startups launching every day. If only 2 or 3 of those are focused on real estate, that is a tidal wave of change in our tech alone. The question isn't who will survive, it's who's going to be reborn. Who's going to lean in, partner smartly, and move faster? And that's what this podcast, and more importantly, this process is about. This isn't the first time real estate has faced a major shakeup. We've been here before. I've been in real estate since the late 90s, long enough to remember when listing data was printed on cards in offices and agents had to race to grab them. I remember when the internet shifted power from agents to clients, when the Great Recession redefined how information and access worked. But now we're actually facing our biggest transformation yet. And it's not about smartphones replacing magazines. It's about how people experience homes, how they search for them, and more importantly, how they decide who to trust. Agents have to become tech-powered partners, not gatekeepers. The old way of operating isn't just outdated, it's gone. And yet, have you sat through a real estate continuing education class lately? We're still teaching from the entirely wrong playbook. We aren't training agents to use AI beyond writing really bad listing remarks or slightly better emails. Meanwhile, Zillow just announced that they're integrating with ChatGPT. Our clients are going to use these tools before we even begin to understand them. And how are we preparing them to navigate that? How are we preparing ourselves? There's platforms out there that can help us serve better. We just need to find them, learn them, and adopt them early. And so instead of waiting for the industry to catch up, I've decided we're going to fix it myself. We're remodeling intentionally, researching, questioning everything, making the best decisions available, not just the comfortable ones. We're going to document every step, the decisions, the opportunities, the companies I'm talking to, and the messy middle as we're creating something new for launch in 2026. But make no mistake, this isn't about switching brokerages or changing our logo. This isn't a rebrand. It's a reinvention. I've seen too many teams announce a new chapter that's really just a new yard sign with a new logo. That's not what this is. This is going to go deeper. It's about structure, training, systems, mindset, culture. It's about tearing down what no longer fits and remodeling the parts that are worth keeping. Because this next version, this next chapter, this next era, we're building it for what's next, not for what was. And that is what this podcast is all about. Now, it's been about 6 years since I recorded anything for a podcast, so forgive the rust here. It's going to get better, I promise. But this is the beginning. We've already torn it down. We've already demoed. So now we're remodeling and rebuilding intentionally. We're choosing to be at the bottom of the ladder that we want to climb, not the top of the one that we didn't. And we aren't sure would have continued to lead us upwards in a success anyway. I'm Christy, and this is the Teamwrecked Podcast. It's a real estate team remodel in real time, and I am so glad you're here.